Good afternoon, everyone. We'll be starting the meeting in just a few moments.
The recording has started.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Bravatek Solutions Investor Conference Call. My name is Tom Olson from Pacific Partners, and I'll be the moderator for today's call. Before I introduce the representatives from Bravatek, I'd like to give everyone an idea of how the call will work today, as well as provide some information to ensure things go smoothly. I'd like to remind everyone that given Bravatek is a publicly traded company, the information provided today will correspond with the company's publicly filed documents and statements. During this call, the company will make forward-looking statements, which are predictions, projections, or other statements about future events. These statements are based on current expectations and assumptions that are subject to risk and uncertainties. Actual results could materially differ because of factors discussed in today's call and other risks described in the company's reports filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Bravatek does not undertake any duty to update any forward-looking statement or information. Here's today's agenda. We're going to start with some questions the company has compiled from emails and social media platforms received since the conference call was announced. Following those remarks, there will be a question and answer period through which you may ask further questions of the company. In order to ask a question during the Q&A period, please dial *61 on your phone. You'll get that information a little later also. You will then be put into a queue and you will receive notice that your line is unmuted when it is your turn, so please be ready. Please keep your questions as brief as possible so everyone who wants to ask a question may do so, and try as much as possible not to cover any question already asked. Please understand there is an expectation and we will maintain decorum in a business-like atmosphere for the call today. Finally, the company has set a maximum 45-minute time frame today, as that should allow ample time to get everyone up to date. In light of that, we will need to keep things moving, so please understand if we need to move on should any one discussion go on too long. With that, I'd like to introduce Tom Salucci, CEO and Director of Bravatek, as well as Chuck Brooks, a member of the Board of Directors, both of whom will be answering your questions today. Let's go ahead and get the meeting started, if that's okay with you.
No problem at all, Tom.
Okay, I understand that moments ago that you filed an 8K with some exciting new information.
Yes, we'll talk about that as we go through some of the questions that we have received and any detailed questions people may have that I can answer. I wanted to say I really appreciate
the recording has started.
And also thanking Chuck Brooks, who's an active member of our board, like our other board members. I first got to meet Chuck many years ago. He was, I believe, a legislative affairs director for Senator Arlen Specter from Pennsylvania. Prior to even thinking about joining the government, I used to help the U.S. Senate explain technology, as Senator Dole and Senator Frist used to say, in simple terms, Tommy, simple terms. Anyway, Chuck is a very prominent person in security circles, having worked at the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. He's considered, I believe the name is influencer on LinkedIn for high technology, and he's an all-around good person. We're proud to have him. I also want to mention that it is my distinct honor to represent a small but powerful team at Bravatek who literally works 7 days a week for the company, and it's really more than just money. It's really a mission to make a difference. And it's my honor to represent them today.
Excellent. Did you want to talk a little bit about the 8K that you just filed before we get started with some further questions?
Sure. What we did was we did put out information to the market that we had a letter of intent for HealthCom. I'm very pleased to say that we did execute the definitive agreement with HealthCom, and I think our shareholders will now recognize one of the functions or purposes of the MAP, Market Alliance program, is that in many ways it's dating before you get married. And we got to work with HealthCom, we got to know them, they got to know us,
Now let's start with a few questions that you received prior to the call that seem to be of interest to many investors. First, how do you plan on dealing with, and is there a desired outcome for current share structure and our reverse split or share repurchase options that you're currently working on?
Oh, sure, Tom. That's a good question. The company does not intend to do an RF. Let me repeat. The company does not intend to do reverse split. We have looked at both an accelerated share repurchase plan as well as a straight open market stock buyout. We do not plan on pursuing either, so we have accretive positive cash flow from operations to devote to such a plan. Our primary focus today with regard to our cap structure at this juncture is closing a significant non-toxic equity funding deal or deal sufficient to permit us to pay off or settle with all of our convertible lenders in full so that we can arrest future dilution.
Excellent. How are you going to resolve the existing convertible notes and stop dilution, and can you give a general time frame for that?
Sure. That's a very fair question that we get asked often by our shareholders. We have had a plan, as we've mentioned in previous PRs, that we have been executing and hope to complete in the very near future. First, during the last year, we have settled what we viewed as the most deleterious or harmful convertible debt arrangement, the secured revolving credit facility with a firm called TCA, wherein TCA, very large convertible notes, convertible at a discount to market price, and the right to additional shares of common stock as a, quote, advisory fee, unquote, in which advisory fee had true-up mechanisms that could have been highly dilutive. Most importantly, TCA's notes were secured by a lien on all of Bravatek's assets. Second, we are now down to only a handful of convertible lenders. While conversions are continuing, they have slowed considerably. Now, as I previously stated in response to your previous question, Tom, our current primary focus with regard to our capitalization is closing one or more of the large equity financing opportunities for two reasons, one of which is related to our capitalization concerns, and the second of which is related to our operational plan. First, we recognize the need to clean up our balance sheet, stop continuing dilution. Large equity financing should allow us to pay off our convertible lenders and thereby remove conversion features resulting in continuing dilution. Second, we plan to use the remaining funds to provide us necessary runway to execute on deals we are currently negotiating with HealthCom, we just announced, Crucial Track, and our other strategic alliance partners. We cannot, of course, accurately predict if or when we're able to close large equity funding, but I can certainly state that we are very active in discussions with more than one potential large investor at the current time. It would be premature for me to provide further details prior to closing negotiations and inking an agreement. Rest assured, the company plans to file a current report on Form 8K as soon as practical after contract execution. And I need people to understand that we need to understand what we inherited here. I was asked to join the board of a company called Decrypt prior to a team called Bravatek. And the bottom line is this was a company that had no product, no sales, and quite frankly, a big overhang of preferred shares. This was a cleanup turnaround. And as much equity as I've raised in the past in several of my business ventures, I will tell you that I shook that tree as much as you could. You could imagine how difficult it would be to get an equity investment when you're sitting with a company that has no revenues and no product after 7.5 years. Bravatek is not my first rodeo. fund I'm involved in. And I need everyone to know, not in a braggadocious way, but I believe not only in the success of this company, but I put my money where my mouth is. I don't think people fully understand when they look at our 8K and 10K that I haven't taken pay for almost 2 years now. Plus, I have lent the company significant money, which I have not been paid back. And it's not just about money for us. Unlike so many of the shareholders listening who are young and full of hope, I'm old and full of other. And I learned a long time ago you've got to make a difference in life. And I am honored to be involved in developing, distributing products and services that keep people safe and secure. You know, marketing gurus say there are two primary needs now. One, most people around the world want to be healthy for longer periods of time. Second, people want to be safe. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. And we're going to have a chance to impact that. And as I said, for me, it's much more than just money. Is there an upside for me? Absolutely. And I wouldn't be doing this. I don't have to be doing this. So I just feel that everyone needs to know that directly from me. Sorry for being a little long.
Excellent, not a problem. You've been tweeting that you've been having meetings with large investors, and so far we haven't seen anything transpired. Have you been getting investments from equity investors, and what's being done with the investments that you have?
Sure. Tom, that's simply not true. We have received interest from multiple potential investors. As I previously stated, we are currently in discussions with more than one large investor. We have not yet closed on any such investment. If we had, we would have reported it. Practical reality, however, is that a savvy equity investor will not invest a significant sum unless they are assured that dilution of their equity will not occur. And that's the reason why we're focused on closing a large equity investment in tandem with paying off all our convertible lenders. I want everyone to know it's my solemn duty to do right by our shareholders, and I am determined to make sure we take the correct path. I know people would like things to be done in hours, but I have a solemn duty to our shareholders to make sure we make the right decision. Things are turning at Bravatek. I am more than just hopeful, and I hope the 8K today is more convincing. As time goes on, you're going to see more and more things, in my view, and I'd rather take a little more time to make the right decision.
Excellent. Will the company authorize the transfer agent to disclose the outstanding share count for anyone who may request so? And if not, why not?
Oh, yeah, that's a very popular question. We were previously advised by our counsel that selective disclosure of outstanding share count to individual shareholders or prospective investors could be deemed by the SEC to be disclosure of material non-public information, which could be grounds for insider trading. We wanted to be transparent and advise all shareholders on a fair and equal basis of outstanding share count information. Our transfer agent, Clear Trust, was set up to regularly provide detailed share count information to over-the-counter markets and has been doing so for some time. Under Bravatek's company profile linked on over-the-counter markets, following share count information is regularly updated and verified by our transfer agent. Number of authorized shares, number of outstanding shares, number of restricted shares, number of unrestricted shares, and the number of shares held at ECC.
Excellent. Let's switch gears a little bit. Do you have any revenue on the books from the tower business this quarter? And if not, what are your expectations? And if so, how much of that is related to Encrypt?
Oh, okay. Yes, we do anticipate revenues from tower services during the next quarter. Many folks may remember that we executed a MAP agreement first with HealthCom, and we do expect revenues this quarter. We do have revenue from Encrypt One software sales as well this quarter. Our quarterly report on Form 10
Could you please get everyone up to speed on what happened to Viking and what kind of business can be expected from HelpCom during the next 12 months?
Sure, Tommy. The Viking deal was an asset deal. And one of the partners did not fulfill their part of the deal. We mentioned this in one of our filings. We are considering litigation. That said, we still have valuable IDIQs. Those of you not familiar with that term, IDIQ stands for indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity, and we purchased these in the deal, and we believe HelpCom will be able to capitalize on these deals and the IDIQ. That is one of the reasons I have been on acquiring HelpCom. We expect to receive some revenues from our MAP agreement with HelpCom as well during the next quarter. If we are successful in acquiring HelpCom, which I fully believe, of course, we would have significant additional revenues that quarter.
All right. Will shareholders get to see audited financials for HelpCom before the acquisition is completed?
Okay. That's good. I just want to be careful how I answer this to make sure that I can keep it as simple as I can. You know, because auditing HelpCom would cost a non-nominal amount, we don't anticipate employing available capital to complete an audit of HelpCom prior to closing. However, our accountants have been working closely with HelpCom's management and accountants. We feel comfortable with our view of HelpCom's unaudited financial statements as well as their tax returns. We anticipate that it will be a precondition of closing that our accountants conclude that HelpCom is in fact audible, and it is our accountants cover any facts leading to them conclude that HelpCom is not capable of being audited. We would not consummate the acquisition. Of course, at the current date, we do not believe that there is any issue on that front at all.
Where are you with U.S. government, DoD, and/or NATO contracts for Encrypt1, Voosh, and other software packages in light of some recent tweets that have been out there?
Oh, okay. That's fine, Tom. We have received positive feedback on the testing of Encrypt1, not only as a standalone product, but bundled with message handling systems, for example, usable by NATO and DoD. I certainly, on a call like this, cannot relay the companies that have done this, but I want our shareholders to understand that the Encrypt1 has gone through very rigorous testing as a standalone software product, and I'm just as proud of the fact that when bundled with other software tools, it has performed exceptionally well. And this is a testament to our VP of Engineering and Software Development team who have made the software very robust, not only as standalone, something that can be bundled with other products.
Excellent. When do you expect to have more information about the two game changers mentioned recently? There was information out there that the billion-dollar Indian contract is a done deal, and the contract was waiting for just one more signature. Then a Canadian holiday was holding it up. Delivery of the contract, then a signature of the last signer had to be witnessed. Nothing happened. Can you explain what happened there?
Oh, sure. That information did not emanate from Bravatek. We are in possession of 3 executed agreements given to us by Smart Pulse Technology, or what we call DPT, and we have signed an addendum provided to us by DPT, which we reported in a recent current report on Form 8K. I also want to mention I have received a lot of words about our PR being ultra-conservative. I take full responsibility for being ultra-conservative. I would never want to embarrass our legal counsel. I will tell you, I spent a lot of time looking for the right counsel. I wanted honesty, integrity, ultra-conservatism, and that's what we have in our counsel. I'm very proud that he's our counsel. He's the most honest attorney I've ever met, well-respected, and I ask him to challenge me all the time. People were saying things that it was too conservative. I take responsibility for that. And I want people to know that taking that kind of conservatism in the PR actually led to phone calls to me from very large equity investors. And one of their first comments is they respected the fact that we were that conservative. So I just want everyone to know I'm the captain. I take responsibility. It was my decision to allow that because I'd rather be conservative and underestimate, get patted on the back for beating the numbers and missing the numbers and kicking the butt. So that was my fault. Sorry, Tom.
Understood. What is the status of the 3 ECRIP 1 pilot programs that were in their third and final phase?
Oh, okay. All are progressing very well, and we expect revenue this quarter and later in 2018. I'm very proud of our salespeople. And once again, I don't know how many people have experience with government. The gears of government grind slowly, as you may know. Having been a senior executive in the government, I can assure you of that. And there's reasons for it. But I will tell you that we've gotten good responses from the pilot.
Excellent. Have you been able to get Crucial Track's biometric solutions to be tested for airport and border security, like is being done with their competitor solutions?
Okay, that's good. But again, as was the case with PPP, I don't want to speak to Crucial Track. I don't think it's appropriate. But my understanding is that they have been tested in Europe with an order book from an airport there. Again, I think it's only proper and honorable to defer to them for the release of further information. That just seems only proper to me. People who know me know, integrity and honor is still important to me. It may be old-fashioned. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. I don't like to speak
Excellent. Can you update the progress that Dark Pulse has been making in reference to getting a contract for the Mexican-Trump border wall?
Oh, yeah, fine. We are pursuing real sales leads at both U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the White House, and also we are working with very large DOT contractors who actually have contracts already on the board. So I'm very pleased with the progress that TPT and Bravatek are making in that regard.
All right, Tom, what is your vision for BVTK in let's say, 1 to 2 years?
That's a fair question, and I think it's a good question also, Tom. Basically, the bottom line is Bravatek is a security platform company both developing and distributing high-tech software, tools, and systems. We envision revenue from HealthCom this quarter, assuming we're able to close on our acquisition. We just showed you the definitive agreement. And we expect revenue from PPP in the next 2 quarters based on PPP's projections provided to us, Bravatek. I personally believe we are grossly undervalued, and we hope to rapidly recognize profitable revenue on the closing with equity investors with the payoff of all convertible notes and receipt of capital needed to accelerate our strategy. As I mentioned earlier, I just want everyone to know I don't have to do this. I do work 7 days a week like our team. For me, it's much more than money, although not crazy. I know there's a very large upside for me personally, and I'm willing to do things properly, ethically, by the book, to grow a real company. And I think it's important to say that I'm very bullish on the prospect, and I think people have tested me, if you will, over the time, which I don't mind. They do call me nights and weekends. I can't explain it. I don't think my wife, Julie, or children or grandchildren, I get up about 3:30 a.m., go to bed about midnight or 1 in the morning. My wife tells her family, it's up half one of the best things I did in my career, not only to show all of my children and grandchildren that there's more to life than money, even though money, of course, has been a big part of my life, gaining money, but it's been make a difference and help others. And we have that chance as a team with our shareholders to make a difference as well as make a lot of money.
In light of the company's business plan, people are asking, do you believe there's a realistic time frame for reaching NASDAQ?
You know, I get this question so often. I think I have shoes older than many of our shareholders, and this question always reminds me of a very famous quote from Cicero in Latin. Most young people look at me and say, "Latin, what's that?" And I just smile and forget about knowing who Cicero was. But for those of you older, remember that Cicero from history was a politician and lawyer in Rome. There's a very famous quote from Cicero, which goes something like, "Quaeusque Catalina patientia nos," means, how long will you refuse our patience, O Catalan? And I sense this constantly from our wonderful shareholders. Got to uplift, got to uplift. And I agree. Got to uplift, got to uplift. But like I said before, many of our shareholders are young and full of hope. And I'm old and full of other things, and this is not my first rodeo. It will not happen as fast as you all want, but we're all about not only execution of Bravatek, but I say to people virtually every day, it's the speed at which we execute. So speed of execution, I know from experience, makes the difference. We have truly differentiable products and services with a very useful contract vehicle, and folks, we know that both in the private and public sector customer base, you don't go to government to make money. I, as I said previously, wanted to show our kids and grandchildren there's more to life than financial success. You've got to give back. And when you work for different presidents of different parties, it's very rare, and I'm honored to do so. Very honored still to help the current president and his team when requested. This builds trust with these folks. So it's very gratifying to do that, and that's where some of the past experience I have and people like Chuck Brooks, who's phenomenally connected within government because he's very well respected in looking out into the future and what technologies can be commercialized to help our government, and for that matter, a government and society around the world. So,
thank you, Tom. I'm on the line now. I think
we feel very fortunate that we have these connections because, as those of you who have been in business know, that makes all the difference.
Excellent. Chuck, I think you wanted to say something.
No, I just want to thank you I'm on the line now, and after what Tom said, service to country is an integral part of what we are, and this company is about security, it's about health, and I'm proud to be part of it.
Excellent. Well, I think let's switch gears now. We have a few minutes to take some phone calls and questions. We're going to switch over to the Q&A session now. Again, you're going to get an instruction, but hit *61 if you'd like to ask a question. You'll hear that when you're unmuted, please let us know your name and if you have any corporate affiliation prior to your question. Again, we're going to try and limit the call to about 45 minutes, so we'll get to as many questions as we can.
Q&A session has started. To ask your question, please press *6.
At this point, if anyone has questions, please hit the *61. All right, we're going to start with a number from ending in 2100. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon. It's kind of a two-part question here. When do you forecast having positive cash flow? And in that same vein, now that you have gotten current, do you anticipate being able to keep current moving forward?
Oh, yes. Thanks very much for your question. I didn't fully hear the first part. The second part I heard you say, now that we're current, do we anticipate staying current? Yes, it's the full intention to stay current. You can imagine how many text messages, emails, deservedly, that I had received to make sure that we were current. And again, I'm the one that takes responsibility for that. I don't believe in disparaging people, groups. I'm really grateful to all the support services we have, legal and accounting and the auditors. I allowed that situation, so that was, again, my responsibility. So, yes, we very much want to, and we will, I have anything to do with it, to stay current. I think you asked about positive cash flow. As you may have recognized in the 8K we put out with the PO, where I was dinged often for PR being ultra-conservative, which I fully recognize and wouldn't change, because, as I said, we got a positive benefit out of that from people calling large equity investors, what I will call smart money. Yes, I can't give you an exact pinpoint peak or things of that nature, but just so everyone understands, that 21.4 million PO is basically, for lack of a better phrase, a finder's fee. And I call that the cha-ching model. I've done this many times before in the turnarounds that I've been involved in prior to Bravatek, and that is money that goes essentially to the bottom line. And if we took a pre-tax operating income, it represents quite a bit of revenue without all the hassle. So I will tell you that we do have financial models that show positive, but it all depends on when we start accumulating the orders from BPC, for example, because there are finder's fees, as you saw, involved with that essentially. And I just don't feel comfortable giving you facts. I will tell you that I will talk to counsel. We do have projections that we give with NBA. I just don't know, and I'd rather err on the side of caution to release that information without asking. But we do have very detailed information. We have a terrific CFO. I hope that helps.
All right, on to the next question. Go ahead, please.
Good evening. I am more interested in the overall overhead of eCrypt. Would you mind walking us through a typical $1 million eCrypt sale? How much of that, after training and actual server implementation, trickles down to the bottom line?
Okay, that's a very good question. There's a reason why Bill Gates, at least the last time I checked, is the richest person in the world, and no different with eCrypt One software, the margin is particularly high there. I will tell you that we don't have as many service-related calls for eCrypt One as you could imagine. Very early on, when I was asked to join the board and then a week later become the CEO of eCrypt One, I put in a very rigorous 5-stage gated new product development process. And if you know anything about the government or the military, you know that they don't do anything without T&E. And T&E, like a lot of acronyms in government, stands for test and evaluation. And I had that eCrypt One tested so much that even the engineers got sick of me from doing it. But that enabled us very quickly. I think it was actually less than a week that eCrypt One was put on Amazon Web Services. And believe me, they are tough. And they called me and complimented me, Bravatek, for getting it on. The margins are 90% plus for eCrypt One. And quite frankly, people, because we have so many pilots and people have tested it, we have not had one thing we don't have, I have to say, is we don't have the huge marketing team at a company like Bravatek at this stage to promote it all over the place. But I will tell you this, as I've mentioned in PR, we do have people who have approached me and continue to approach me about acquiring eCrypt One. It's my personal belief as the CEO and chairman that it's too early to do that. And the reason why is because I've done enough, mergers, acquisitions, and sold companies that, of course, they want to buy it now. Because it works. There's real customers that they can go and talk to. And I think we have to be very careful. What I'm tending to do now is look at distribution deals. So, for example, we'll give them a slice, a thin slice of a certain market and give them exclusivity for a downstroke of cash plus a royalty payment. And so that's how I'm looking at it right now. But the gross margin is quite good. In fact, that's a great question because, as I said, Bravatek is a security platform company. So we're looking at a blended gross margin. So on one end, you have the very high software. Depending upon the telecom construction job or service job, there's a variability in those numbers. But having that high gross margin on the software helps to give an overall good margin for the company. And I will tell you, I learned a long time ago, growth in and of itself means nothing to me. It's profitable growth. And people at Bravatek are sick of me asking, what's the profit in this? Show me the real P&L. Because it's only profitable growth that shareholders should care about. Because I've seen companies grow and spending all that time, doing all that effort, have a loss is nuts. I don't have time for that.
Excellent. Thank you. On to the next question. Go ahead, please.
Hi, good afternoon, Tom. This is Sean, and my question is, hello, sir. Do you have any plans for this product to replace this first key or to be implemented in our government and other avenues?
Yes, that's a great question. And people, when they ask about my background, they say, all that, you work with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. What everybody doesn't, for the most part, realize is that I was very proud not only to work with people like Michael Chertoff, Anna Napolitano, and others, but I ran the special program for the White House. For my protection and my family's protection, we didn't publicize that too much. There are two budgets in our country. One they share with the American people, the much larger one, the three-letter agency. And you know some of them, not all of them. CIA, the NSA, CIA, etc. The good news for a company like Bravatek is that companies, and I'm not going to disparage them, companies like that you just mentioned, are not trusted in the government. So yes, I am talking at the highest levels. Very proud to tell you we're not going to talk about it on a phone line like this. I still have high-level clearances with our government and our military. Again, it all deals with, we talk about the contact and the trust. These people look me in the eye and say, Tommy, I'm a 2-star general. I want to be a 3-star. It better work. So, and we know that it works. So these are the contacts. It was an excellent question because, yes, there isn't a good feeling with some of the software that's been out there. And the good news is we are able to get to the people who have this responsibility. And one of the great things about being on the SOUP, the SCWP contract, is it makes it easy. It's all about keep it simple for people, make it easy for them to buy. That's why. And that is also leads me into a statement. We are so busy with people, and I'm talking about billion-dollar plus revenue companies, CEOs, and that's how much they want to be mass market. So we've got a backlog of people. Why? Because they recognize the ability we have with the food contract and the fact that we have clearance. Something that everyone needs to know, our valued shareholders, is that many of you may have worked with the government and you're used to something called the FAR, Federal Acquisition Regulation. And they are the rule book, plural, on how you do things and how the government, the military contract. When you get to the three-letter agencies, CIA, the NSA, the DIA, etc., there are many more that most people don't know about, they don't need to follow the FAR. They can buy what they need. And that also is something that we're going to be taking advantage of. I hope that answers your question.
Excellent, Tom. We've got about 5 minutes left, so we're going to get to as many calls as we can here and maybe try and move through them quickly.
Can I answer one thing that people have been texting me?
Sure.
They said, how is it that you're called Tommy Boy? Let me answer that real quickly. Some of you may know that I worked for a couple different presidents. I worked for President George W. Bush. He appointed me the first chief commercialization officer of the U.S. If you knew anything about President George W. Bush, if he liked you, he worked with you, he gave you a nickname. If he really liked you, he gave you two nicknames. So one nickname he gave me was Tommy Boy. That's where it comes from. My other nickname was Gucci, Gucci, Salucci. And I don't have time to say Gucci, Salucci, and I certainly don't have time to type that on my Facebook. So I want to put that to bed where Tommy Boy came from. It came from President George W. Bush. When I still see him, normally he calls me Tommy Boy, but he didn't forget the Gucci, Salucci. Sorry about that.
Excellent. That's great. We're going to move to the next question here. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Tom. Owen Tabor, MFCO. How are you?
Tommy, I can't hear if someone's talking.
Hey, can you speak up for us, sir?
Hey, Tom. This is Owen Tabor, the MFCEO of the Billionaire Boys Club. How you doing?
Fine. How are you?
Good, bud. Good. We wanted to thank you with warm thanks for your timely conference call today. Had a couple of questions for you about the outstanding share structure that we're looking at right now, and really I want to know how you're going to get that under control without an RS. And also, we wanted an update on your son. Asking for a friend on that one.
My son asking for a what?
Your son asking for a friend on that one. I'm not sure what he's talking about there, Tom.
I have a son asking for. I have Julie and I have 7 children. I have more than one son, so I don't understand. And anyway, in terms of the share structure, I believe we talked about that.
I think, Tom, we talked about that, and I'm not sure if there's anything quickly you want to add, but we're going to run out of time here, so. Maybe we move on to the next question. I think you've addressed that here. Let's go on to another question. Go ahead, please.
Yes, from the financing earlier this year, it appears that there's going to be a new wave of convertible notes, or notes that are eligible for conversion coming up very soon. And without significant revenue incoming, I wonder if you could just say anything more about these significant investors who may come in and save the day, so to speak, from my point of view.
Tom, I wonder if you could help me. Maybe it's my older age.
Yeah, well, he was saying that he was asking again about the convertible notes, that there are some that are becoming due fairly quickly, and wants to know if you're able to give more information on any of the other money that may be coming in, or plans to help with any of those new notes that are coming due.
Sure, at the risk of upsetting our attorney, who and I applaud it, as I said before. I'm going to be conservative. I will tell you that the company has already received offers from equity investors. Again, I truly believe it's my solemn duty to make the proper decision on these, and we're very fortunate that we have many the highest priority, if you were to look at the use of proceeds on the package that I will give them when I talk with them, it is to buy out the convertible note holders. And I believe I heard him rightly say that, there are times, we do have some time to do this, but every day it closes. Very aware of it. And again, I talk with equity investors. I don't think a day goes by where I'm not talking to people. And I'm at the point with several, as I said, we've already received offers. But, we're very fortunate that it seems every day more people are contacting us. Some, I don't think fully understand what an equity investment is. And, I take care of that real quick. But others, we're hitting people with, that have sizable money. And I just want you all to know that the use of proceeds, the first item, is, and they understand.
Excellent. Well, Tom, I think we've reached our 45 minutes here, and so I think maybe if you have something that you'd possibly like to say in closing, I think you've covered most of the points that seem to be on many people's minds. So I'm going to switch.
Q&A session is over.
And if you have any closing words, we would appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom. Again, I would like to thank everyone truly who participated in this call. And I also want to thank so much Chuck for taking time out of his busy schedule. Also, Tom, for moderating this. Technical glitches happen. It's the life we live in. And Tom, I think you did a great job moderating this. Again, I want to thank all the people, our CFO, all the people involved with Bravatek, the auditors, our attorneys, the accountants. It's a really great team. We work hard as hell, but we also laugh. And I think most of their humor comes from laughing at me, which is fine. If you met my wife, really, there are other nicknames I had that she has given me and my children, which I don't think we'll talk about. But I just want to say it's an honor to be part of Bravatek because I believe we're part of something big. Yes, I want to make everyone financially well off from this. I also want you to be proud that we're working on important things for our country and society. I really believe that. So, again, I want to thank you. And I also want to thank those shareholders that make me laugh so often. I have never seen some of these posters or mock-ups of photos. It really warms my heart and makes me laugh. And thank you all very much. And we are here to serve the shareholders. I never forget. I never forget. And we'll make you proud. Thank you, Tom.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, everyone else, for participating in the call today.
This session is no longer being recorded.